Welcome back, guys. This is the Week 11 preview and picks portion of the episode. Got Jamar here with us. Um, I'm going to go ahead. It's kind of unique. We usually do this on Wednesday night, but there has actually been two of the games played already uh, going into this episode. So I do want to go ahead and mention Union beat John Battle tonight, 55-6, and Hurley ended up beating Twin Valley, 52-14. And Jamar, before we get into our picks, you was at that game. What did you see from that?
Just a lot of Hurley, early in the game, jumped out to a big lead. Continuous clock started running first half, so it was, pretty quick. Just a little too much. When Valley on defense, they were there a lot of times, in the right spots, just couldn't make tackles. Um, Twin Valley couldn't get anything going on offense. Hurley was there and applied a lot of pressure. Was always in the right positions. So kind of what you kind of would expect going into the game. I thought it might be closer for longer, and then at some point Hurley would just kind of wear them out. But they jumped on them quick and never looked back.
Yeah, and you know, do you think I'm not trying to get sentimental here or emotional on this, but did you have a moment there tonight when you was watching the game, thinking that I know that we all pray that we have enough come out next year for both teams, and I don't want to think on the negative side, but just being honest, being a realist, there is an outside chance, even if it's a small one, that what if it was the last time those two teams met? So did you take that in any tonight?
No, I mean I know we talked about it, but I never really thought much about it during the game. I expect. Well, I mean I don't know. I mean, it may not. I'm not sure. Um, I mean, Twin Valley. I know Hurley's low on numbers also, but Twin Valley's numbers are just that's to the point where like if they wouldn't consolidating, I wonder how much longer they could keep having a team every year in year out. It's just um, they just don't have the numbers to do it. I think they might have had 5 or 6 dressed out on the sideline, so they might have had 17 players dressed out tonight, maybe 16. I'm not sure, and that you can say, well, you only got 16 or 17, that's fine. But when you got to go week to week with that, and then you can't really do much in practice as far as prep and going against anybody, it just makes it hard, to do a lot. I think the consolidation's coming at the right time, and that's just sports wise. I mean, obviously that had to be done money wise for school. That's a whole different conversation. But football wise, I think Twin Valley and Hurley were getting to the point where it was getting hard to get enough players. So it couldn't come at a better time. Yeah, it could be the final matchup. I hope not. I hope that we'll get to at least see it one more time and both teams kind of get their send off and granted obviously won't have a team, but hopefully Twin Valley and Hurdle will both be able to have one and go through their schedule and have their do their their season and can do a send off in the right way. But if not, then it was it's gonna be weird not seeing them play each other anymore.
Yeah, and we hope and pray that it's not the case next year. It, you know, I don't bringing up that question. It's not more of a trying to plant bad seeds or anything like that. It's more of just uh, us, me and you, just talking as two buddies here. And I hope that I hope next year they come out. I hope both of them have great numbers, especially leading into the consolidation. That would be good for all three programs. So we'll go ahead and go into this week 11 slate. So we're going to try to go through these kind of quick. If you haven't checked out Tailgate Talk with the Boys episode this week, we joined them and we all kind of got into it a little bit more with some details and stuff. But we've had a lot of obstacles this week, scheduling and stuff. I did want to mention because I know that a few people knew that uh, Twin Valley, we had Twin Valley athletes and some Hurley athletes that were going to join us tonight. Um, Ended up, they were going to join us last night. I had a medical emergency with my family, so we pushed it to tonight. But unfortunately, their game got pushed up to tonight, so it kind of happened that way. So for the ones that were expecting to see those kids on. We are still going to try to get them on later on, even though they're not, might not be in the playoffs. Albeit they, could come on here and talk to us a little bit about the season and maybe help us pick some games or something. So I just want to kind of get that out of the way. With that being said, we'll go ahead and go through this. First one, Richlands at Graham. The sportsbook line on this for the Southwest Virginia Sportsbook, which is also, as I need to mention, not a real sportsbook. No money is being profited on this, but it's 44.5 for Graham. I think that if we were us to go into picks and stuff, I am going to pick Graham in this one. However, talking to Andrew, talking to Colin, two great kids. I think they are two pillars of what could be a good program going forward. I had talked with some people going forward. I think the scheduling and stuff next year is a little different. I don't think they have Union, maybe don't have Abingdon, I don't think. So you could be seeing them maybe pick up some teams that, I don't want to say are lesser, but, Abingdon and Union's top teams in the region. So, I think scheduling next year may help them better. Plus, with the growth and all these returning players, I think this game could be a game to where they keep it within that 44 points and have something to build on going into the offseason. But I have Graham winning.
Yeah, I could see it not being 44, but that I could see that just being because Graham pulls people out and make sure everybody's staying healthy. I think if Graham wanted to, it could be that easily. I know Richmond's coming off 2 good weeks, but that's a whole different animal, that Graham defense. So, but yeah, obviously picking Graham and they'll kind of depict what the score will be for this one. But I can see it. I can see it being within 44.
Okay, we'll go to the next one here. Grundy at Central. And the betting line for this one is Grundy being a 12.5 point favorite. I think this could be, we mention it all the time. I think trap game is something that is easily thrown around. But I think that the Marion game I thought could have been. But this Grundy team, man, we mentioned it the other day on the podcast. I think they're playing some of their best football right now. They're comfortable in the offense. They're feeling good. I think defense is playing better. I see them going out and just continuing what they're doing. I can see them having a lot of success at Central. Could be the makings of a trap game, but I don't know. I just think they've got their foot on the gas, man. They're ready to go. I have them winning this one, and I would have them actually covering that.
What was this? I didn't hear what the spread was. What did you say?
12.5. And I to be honest with you, we made these picks the other day with with Aaron and the boys there at Tailgate Talk, and I can't even remember all the ones I had picked. So I hope I'm not contradicting myself too much. But
No, I'd say you're
that's
good
where
on
I'm
that
at now.
one. Yeah, this is not. Here's a prime example of how when I want to say something here, but I don't want to offend any certain school. But we were with the boys from Tailgate Talk, and the Walmart Warriors thing was hilarious. That story and hearing them talk about it, that cracked me up. I don't have anything, obviously it's a little bit of a rivalry out there with, East Side and Central and all that, but for us it's not, so I feel bad even bringing it up, but it's a pretty funny little nickname. But this is a big game for Grundy. I don't know if they're locked in at 5 or if Thomas Walker could jump them with a win, because there's like a point difference between them. I don't know how the points work exactly. I'd imagine it being a 2A school they're playing, it's got to hit, even if you lose, maybe they still stay in the 5. But this is a big game for them to solidify that, stay at that 5 position, and momentum going into playoffs. Because if they stay at 5 and Homeacre stays at 4, that's a first round matchup that Grundy's already played them once this year, which I do think it's a different Homeacre team than that played Grundy early in the year. I think Homeacre's better now, but still, that's the big difference of them than going to Eastside. So I think it's a big deal this game. I think they come out ready, and I wonder how up for this Central's going to be with being the last game of the year and nothing really other than just from pride and stuff like that to play for because they're out of the playoffs. But I got Grundy covering. I think it'll be closer than I don't think it'll be a blowout. I think Central will kind of show up, and it being at home, senior night, whatever it is. I think it'll be tough for Grundy to get things going, but I think they'll win by 3 touchdowns probably. But I don't see it being like a complete blowout.
All right, we got Lee at Abingdon. Right now, Abingdon's a 24.5 point favorite. Air Pendergraph and the Lee Generals, the passing attack they got is going over to Abingdon to play. And Abingdon has been playing great, coming off that win against Union. Owen Barr, we had him on a few weeks ago. Great kid. He's been showcased a lot in the paper here recently. He's had some pretty big games. I think Pendergraph. I think they're going to do better than what people think. I mean, they played good teams, so they can pass on them. But I do think Abingdon wins. I don't know what that line. That's a pretty big line for that game. And Abingdon, they're not a team that they'll keep the ball away from Lee. Is what they'll do. It's not necessarily that they'll put up 30, 40 points, but I have Abingdon winning that one, but probably keeping it within the 24.
Yeah, I can see this being one of those games where Aberdeen maybe gets ahead really quick, jumps out to a good lead, and then they got playoffs coming up and kind of takes people out, and maybe Lee's scoring some points late. I think Lee's gonna have a rough night. Against that defense, particularly Abington's D line. I think might cause a lot of problems for Lehigh. But yeah, with Pendergraph back there throwing around, you never know what they could put some points up. You still got to go out there and cover people. But yeah, I got Aberdeen. I got them covering it. I think they will. Um, Lehigh sitting at 7 in the playoff points right now. I don't know that they can advance either and get anywhere. Um, Looking to play Union, so this is kind of for them. Honestly, this is. I mean, they got to come stay healthy in this one too. I mean, that's at this point in the year, if you're locked into a spot and you're going against a 3A school that's probably it's going to win the Mountain Seven or already has won the Mountain Seven. Uh, but I guess they got to win this week to clinch it. But um, I'm not saying you don't go into the game. Obviously, you go into the game trying to win, but for them, the main thing is come out healthy. But yeah, I got Aberdeen covering.
This next one will be pretty close. It's Chilhowie at Holston, and Holston is listed as the 9.5 point favorite. I was really impressed with Holston's Luke Green and Chris Akers from last week. I think that program, especially winning that game against Real Retreat was big. Coach Akers talked about it last week, how he thought that was the toughest team they played all year, and that's because of the competition that Real Retreat played. They got a game we'll talk about here in a minute that will be pretty big this week, but that win I think almost impressed me more than the Johnson County win. I think I may have said that on the podcast the other day, but that was a very solid win, especially with Luke being humble and honest about it in the interview, talking about how he was worried that they may have got the big head from the Johnson County win. So for them to respond that way and come out with that win last week was big for them. I see them staying steady, having their mindset strong, and playing a good game this week against Chilhowie and winning. And I actually have them. I think they're going to cover this.
Yeah, I think they're got the momentum right now. They're one of those teams that's playing good and getting hot at the right time, and they're at 2 right now in the playoff. Uh, the points. I don't know how that's going to work because them and the East Side are like razor close as far as their decimal points. So it'd be a big win for them to stay at 2. Um, like you said, I think they come out and take care of business. Yeah, give me Holston. I think they do cover that spread.
So we got Ridgeview at Gate City, and Ridgeview is the 12.5 point favorite in this one. I think that line is pretty indicative of the way I think Gate City has had some very bright moments this year, and I think Ridgeview they're quite a puzzle, man. I don't know yet like how I feel about them. They obviously have a lot of talent out there with O'Quinn, those receivers. They got talent on defense, and much like Gate City, they're hard for me to really pinpoint where they're at. But nevertheless, they both, I think, are looking forward to the playoffs. I'm not sure where Gate City is seated at in that, but I'm sure Ridgeview is probably up there in the top five. Um, I guess you'll probably wait on more of that here in a second, but I have Gate City winning this one. I think it's going to be a close game, but being at Legion Field, I think that this is the game they finally, the quarterback's grown a lot this year. I think the team itself has grown a lot. I think this is a game that kind of shows up. I have them winning this one in a very close one.
Right now, Ridgeview's at 3, and the Gate City's at 6. So if everything stays the same, they'll play again next week. I think Ridgeview takes care of it. I'm like you. I think it's a really close game. I think Gate City probably comes out, covers that. I can see them covering that spread, and keeping it with 2 scores. I think I don't know. I just think Ridgeview's offense is the difference. I think they make enough big plays to win this one. So give me the Wolfpack, but give me I think it'll be a very good game. If I was gonna go to one, this might be one I would try to get over to Gate City for. But yeah, give me the Wolfpack.
Another big game, Real Retreat at Honaker. Honaker's listed as a 6.5 point favorite. Honaker looked really good last week, despite coaching changes and stuff of that nature going around the program. Peyton Music looked great. They had a big write up on him this week. That's a great article. Their offense is really feeling it right now. I think they're comfortable. I think the defense is looking a lot better. The blitz packages and stuff like that Coach Lowe's been putting together from the outside looking in, it looks like it's working. I'm not saying it's shutting down people, but it's stalling them enough to where that's not necessarily an Achilles heel like it was anyway. Man, this is going to be a tight one. I think that I'm going to go with Real Retreat in this one, but I think it's going to be close. I could just as easily see, though, Honecker, just coming away and winning by 3 touchdowns. Like, their offense really might be, I think it's a mixture of they've looked really good the past few weeks. Some of it is some competition. But then again, they're like that Patrick Henry game, they did very well in it. So they could come out here and, blow it up and end up walking out of there with a pretty big win. But I'm going to go with Real Retreat. I think they have to bounce back this week after that Wholesome game.
Is this for the Hogle District Championship? If Honaker wins, do they win the district?
Yeah, I don't know. I know they are undefeated in the district, and I guess behind them would
Will
be
they be?
Holston.
Yeah, so they'd win
But
if they win Friday. Yeah,
yeah, but if they win, yeah, they would win the district, and if they would lose, I would still imagine they would have the
yeah,
tiebreaker.
probably.
I
They
guess.
might have it wrapped up. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I didn't think
So
about that. Holston
yeah,
is the Holston only has one loss in that
yeah.
district. Okay, yeah, they're probably already clinched that then. But I
Which
was gonna
Real
say that's just
Retreat, if they win, so their 3 losses were against Grayson County, George Wythe, and the 3 losses before the Holston loss. They had another one that wasn't even was Lebanon. So I don't think they only have one district loss, right? Would be Holston.
this will be a 3-way
So
tie.
yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. I don't know how that would work out.
Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter. They might flip a coin because district championships football doesn't really just pride and bragging rights really. But um, Royal Retreats right now at 7 in a close kind of right behind Thomas Walker. I think Honecker again. I don't know how these points work. We really need to figure this out. It kind of looks like they're probably set where they're at. There's a little bit of a 3-point gap between them and Grundy. Um, so I don't know that. I mean, maybe with a loss and a Grundy win over a 2A team, granted, potential don't have a lot of wins, but I don't know that'd be enough for them to jump. Like I said, I'm not sure how it works. But they need to get, need this win to keep it going, keep momentum going. I think they go out and get it. I'm gonna take the Tigers.
Got Lebanon at Tazewell. Lebanon is a 14.5 point favorite in this one. I think this is a game where, Tazewell just hasn't clicked yet. I feel like they got the talent. I just think there's something. I don't know what it is, but they just haven't really clicked and had a complete game like I think they're capable of having. I think this could be that opportunity. I could see, maybe Creasy and McDonald having a heck of a game. But either way, the fans are the real winners in this because you're going to see 2 of the best quarterbacks in Virginia. Creasy statistically is one of the best quarterbacks ever in the VHSL. Um, but you got Reese as well, and you got a lot of stud receivers. On Lebanon's side, you got Caden and you got Toby. But I'm going to go with Lebanon in this one, but I do think that Tazewell keeps it within the 14.5.
Yeah, this kind of feels like a trap game for Lebanon, with the way Tazewell's been kind of limping to the finish line on their season. Um, I'm not saying Lebanon's looking past them because I'm sure they're focused and locked in, but just the way, like I said, they're uh, they're aware of Tazewell's struggles here lately, as far as wins and losses. But I'm sure they're aware of, like you mentioned, all the weapons they got. So I don't think they're looking past. But it does kind of feel like one of those games where Lebanon should obviously win, but you never know with Tazewell that they could come out and outscore them. Lebanon needs this one pretty bad. Them and Virginia High are pretty close in the points, and I would imagine with a Lebanon loss, Virginia High win, there might be a chance Virginia High jumps them. And right now, Lebanon and Virginia High would play next week in the first round of the playoffs, but it will be at Lebanon. And I think them getting Virginia High at home is a big deal for them going back up against them after last week's game. I think Lebanon takes care of business. I don't think they're looking ahead. I think they're get back bounce back after a couple of losses, but uh, could be a close one. I see Tazewell scoring with them. But give me the Pioneers.
Virginia High at Marion. Virginia High is 33.5 point favorite in this one. Yeah, I'm going to make this one short and sweet. I got Virginia High. Keyshawn playing great, I think, again, as well as Burks. I think Marion might be ready to kind of hang up this season. I got Virginia High winning this one.
Yeah, Bearcats big. I think they're focused in. They're playing as good as anybody right now. It feels like in the 2D. So I think they're ready for make a run. I think a lot of people, at least people we've talked to and kind of heard from, a lot of people wouldn't be surprised to see them in the region championship game. So I think they're ready to go, and this should be a pretty good. Like I said, nothing against Marion. It should be an easy one for them. Big game for them. Get out healthy. Move on. So give me the Bearcats.
East Side and Castlewood. Um, I think this game, I would like, I think Eastside's going to win this, but I think that this game could be the cherry on top for the season for Castlewood. And I'm saying that from a completely different perspective of a win and loss. It's more of a program starter. Castlewood came in this year not having a lot of kids to then having a lot under Coach Chisholm and the culture he's trying to build there. I've seen improvement from them from the beginning to the end. We've seen them win some games. I think even some games, I think I've seen them play closer than what people thought they would. And I think in this game, if they could play well, I don't think they're going to win, but I think if they could play well and have that going into the off season, it would be big. And I think that would be the perfect ending to this rebuilding, if you want to call it that, season. But I got East Side.
Yeah, I think Eastside, one of the one of those teams in 1A that everybody's got their eye on moving forward in playoffs. I don't think they can jump Poston. If they both win, I wouldn't imagine there being a way they could do that. But with the Holston loss, they very well could jump up to two because they're only like 11 tenths, like 21.77 and 21.66 is what separates them. So like 11 tenths of in points. So like not 11, but one whatever it is. Um, but yeah. Anyway, that's a close race right there at the top of that heat. But yeah, I think Eastside rolls pretty easily here. Castlewood, like I said, a great way in. Come back and get a surprise win last week. To a lot of people, it was a surprise. I'm sure they wasn't surprised at them. They probably, they planned on coming out and taking care of business. But like you said, great turnaround as far as numbers go this year for them, getting a couple wins, move on to next year. But too much Spartans this week.
Got Twin Springs, Rye Cove. I'm gonna make this one kind of short and sweet as well. Uh, Props to Twin Springs Coach Warner for getting through this year. I had tons of injuries and stuff, adversity, And I think that if you probably was to ask Coach Warner, I'm sure he would say that they've probably grown a lot as a team and came together closer this year, despite all the adversity and the challenges and stuff they've had. But kudos to him. He's a heck of a coach, a heck of a leader for those young men. Uh, and kudos to the kids for sticking it out. Throughout the year, there's a lot of programs and stuff that kids would have dropped out or quit or gave up, but I don't think they've ever. I don't think they did. From the outside looking in, it seems like they've stayed steady, and I have Rykov though winning this one. I think that they try to keep everybody healthy and just kind of get through this week and look forward to the playoffs.
Yeah, I think. Well, you said it there with about Twin Springs the injuries. I think the War Eagles need to stock up on their Pedialyte and get ready to make a run. I think they're kind of, I don't want to say limping to the final, but like kind of just going under the radar here at the end of the year. Had a couple close games, and I'm sure that they would like to have back to perform better in. But wrap up a 10-0 season this week. If like I said, looking back a few years ago, if you told somebody from High Cove, hey, you're going to be 10-0 in a few years, they probably wouldn't have believed you. But here they are looking at it, can achieve that this week. So I'm going to take the Eagles.
We got Thomas Walker and J.I. Burton. Um, I think this one, Burton's had a tough year. They got a lot of young kids. Schedule's been rough. Thomas Walker, on the other hand, they've had a great year, I think, going into the year with the expectations and stuff from the outside looking in. Didn't really think that they could be in the position they're in, but they have played great. They've had some even close losses against the Lee and, containing Pendergraph and them. I know it was at the beginning of the season, but uh, playing close with them, even in that loss, was impressive. They could be a sneaky team. Um, that would be a heck of a team if they would have got up there high enough to host a game. Just having to have somebody drive all that way
Mm.
for that playoff game could be, something that could have affected them. But anyway, I'm gonna go with Thomas Walker in this one, big.
Yeah, I think Thomas Walker's uh, pretty happy with the what things are headed right now. Like looks at the sixth seed in the region. I'm not sure what their expectations were at the beginning of the year from people picking, games and looking at districts. I'm not sure where they were picked, or I'm not even sure where they're going to finish. I guess they're finishing third in Cumberland, but no shame in that 'cause there's two pretty daggone good teams ahead of them. Yeah, I'm going to go with Tommy Walker this week, big.
The last game that I have, and Jeremiah, you can correct me if I miss one. The last one I have is Northwood and Patrick Henry. I think Northwood, they seem to have, had some bright spots this year, but overall, not, I guess, perspective wise, it depends on the way you look at it. Not great as far as wins and losses, but there is definitely some things to build on going into next year. Patrick Henry, on the other hand, man, they're a season of up and downs. They went from being a team that, and not that my mind's changed on this, but at the beginning of the year, they almost beat Virginia High, played close with Lebanon. Um, we get to that situation where we're watching them at home against Grundy in a heck of a game, and I think it's all but decided that, man, this team is probably one of the better teams in the region. And then, injuries hit. Barrett got hurt. Stewart had already been hurt, but they had to deal with all that, and they kind of went down a little bit. But guess what? Now everybody's healthy at just the right time. And, they showed out last week, and I expect them to do the same thing this week. And I'm going to tell you right now, I think Grundy is definitely a team that you don't want to see in the first round as well. And I'm not taking anything away from them. But Patrick Henry is also a team you do not want to see in the first round. Do not. I could see them if they can win that first round game because it might be against Rye Cove, and I think stylistically, I think that would be a heck of a game, but it would be a hard one for them. But I could see them if they can get past the first round, especially if they're at 7 or something. I don't know how it's going to shake out. You probably know better than I do on that. Uh, but if they get past the first round, I could see them making it all the way close to the region championship. I do think they have that kind of talent on that team. Now with them being healthy, it's a game changer. But we'll see. I mean, we got Northwood this week, and I think they'll win that. Then next week's gonna be it's gonna be wild.
Yeah, if Royal Retreat loses, I don't know that Patrick Henry jumps or not. Again, I know this is like the fifth time I've said it, but I really need to figure out how these playoff points work and how many you get for whatever. I would imagine there's a point between them, 1 point difference. I would imagine if Patrick Henry wins and Royal Retreat loses, I'd imagine Patrick Henry would jump to 7. And there's nobody hoping for that more than Rykov right now, because that you do not want that to be your first round game. And your congratulations for how you're the 1 seed in the region. You get to play a daggone Patrick Henry with that, but with what they do coming over there, and that's a terrible matchup for Rykov first round. I mean uh, that's I mean that's a scary game. Uh, you could very well see an 8 seed knock off a 1 seed if it happens. And talk about that when if it comes to it next week. But I'm going to go with Patrick Henry this week. I'm with you. I think when they're healthy, they are one of the top at least 4 teams in the region for sure. If when everybody's healthy, and they've not been completely healthy since I guess all year really, because they had the running back hurt early. So give me the Rebels in this one. Pretty good margin, I'm pretty sure. But you said, did we mention who's Union play this week? Did we talk about that?
I mentioned at the beginning they played tonight. They beat
Oh,
Young
okay, yeah,
Battle.
you're right. Yeah, I
Yep.
remember now. Yeah, I think you got everybody that I've been looking over, like the list and the top, the region list, whatever. I don't remember um who Grundy got it. We talked about Grundy. Who?
Yep.
Oh, Central. Yeah, Central.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we got it. I guess you did. I guess we got everybody. Um, if you want me to, I'll run over these PowerPoints just one
Yeah.
more
Go
time.
right
We
ahead.
kind of
Shoot
talked
for it.
about it a little bit, but
Yep.
two in the two region, 2A right now. And I hope he's right. But we got Graham. If the season ended today, Graham would play Tazewell at 8. Lehigh at 7 would travel to Union. Gate City at 6 would travel to Ridgeview. And like I said, a possible back-to-back weeks of them playing each other. And Virginia High would go to Lebanon. And probably a shootout. A lot of shifting could go on this week after. It could be a lot different, but I think for the most part, those 8 teams are going to be in. I don't think. I think Richlands is behind Tazewell. I don't think Richlands is probably not going to beat Graham, so I think they're all locked. It's just they could be different places. Is what we need to keep an eye on. Uh, if it ended right now, Patrick Henry would go to Rye Cove. Royal Retreat would go to Holston. And that's another one. That's another like district foe, like familiarity. That's a tough game for Holston. Playing somebody that you've played already and you're
There,
very familiar with. That's a kind of a scary game for them.
there's no easy games. I don't think
No.
in 1D.
Um, Thomas Walker would go to East Side, um, and then Grundy would go to Honaker. And if you're Honaker, you're sitting there in the 4 spot. You've played Grundy once already. Probably not happy with your performance at Grundy. Might be a game you're looking to, you look for some revenge. But if you're Honaker, you're also at the same time, you don't want to see that, running game coming in there. Um, I do think that, like I said, Honaker's playing much better now than they were when they played Grundy last time. So that could be a very good matchup. Not sure how all that's going to play out. I'm not sure who's at 9. I don't think the 9 seed can get in. I think it was Chilhowie. I'm
Yeah, I
not
think
sure
it
how
was.
close they were to Patrick Henry.
Well, Patrick
Um,
Henry beat him last week, and I think that was the deciding. I
yeah,
think was the
I was gonna
deciding
say even if
factor.
Patrick Henry loses and Chilhowie wins, I don't know how that would work if they could knock them out or not. Um, but anyway, that's what we got right now.
Yeah. I just wanted to say one thing because I know we didn't really preview or recap a lot of last week. We was trying to get this in, punch it in, get it out. But I did want to say because I didn't get to say it on the tailgate talk episode. Hopefully, the next time if Tazewell and Graham plays, there isn't almost 100 flags or whatever. And I'm not somebody that you can ask everybody. I'm not somebody that gets on the referees. I think a lot of times I think they receive more flack than what they should. I think a lot of times it's people kind of blame the referees instead of taking accountability and using it, like if you're losing, using it as a motivation to get better. I think sometimes the referee talk kind of takes away from that. But with all that being said, one of the teams I think had 32 flags thrown on them last week, and one of them had 25, 26. To me, I've never seen that at any level. I don't know if it was something, if it was a message being sent. I don't know, because I know that Graham and Tazzle have had some games in the past, this season that have been pretty vocal about how the refs, did and all that. Uh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to really get into what they may or may not have been thinking, but it's weird. Like, I've never seen that many flags ever. And I wasn't at the game. I didn't watch it. Uh, so maybe somebody can inform me and tell me where I might be wrong at in that. But I just think that's way too many flags.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's got to be something. I don't know. Like you said, that's a very unusual amount. For high school ringing him. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Um, I'm on my top four. I'll go ahead. We got one more week till playoffs start. Right now, my top four teams in 1A are I got Rye Cove, Eastside, Holston, and I still got Grundy in top four. I think I've had them there all year. I just think with those two backs, I think they got to be in there. But Patrick Henry healthy is a top four team. Also, I think they beat Grundy earlier in the year. Um, it's just health wise, you don't know. But you could put, like you said, you could take that 1A and you could take any of them four and not be necessarily have a bad list. Uh, and and 2A, sorry, say 2A, but it's reason 2D, I guess, whatever. I got Graham. I think I mean, obviously, all year have been the best team, looking for another 10-0 year. Union is, I try not to look too much into our conversation at Bonanza the other day with over there. I think they're okay. I think they're going to be fine. Um, I just
Yeah.
that cracks me up still, but I got them up there. Um, Ridgeview at 3 still. After watching them play, Abingdon and hang with Abingdon the way they did, and then Union kind of struggle with Abingdon. It's just a week to week matchup thing, I guess. But I still got Ridgeview there in the top 3, and I got Virginia High at 4. After what they did to Lebanon, pretty good win for them as far as I think it's like 49-28 or something like that.
Yeah.
That's a big win against a really good Lebanon team. So I mean, I got them at 4. They could be ahead of Ridgeview. It's just at this point they're just now coming on, so I haven't got to watch them or really that could be very very entertaining matchups, especially in the second round of the 2A. Um, I'm looking forward to that a lot. Keep an eye on that. So that's what I got. Well, anything you would change in there? You throw anybody in or?
No, I think I'd probably agree with about everything. The only thing, and you just mentioned it, would be maybe Virginia High at 3 over Ridgeview, and it's hard to do that because Ridgeview beat them. I don't know they had all their guys healthy, but nevertheless Ridgeview beat them, so you almost have to have them over Virginia
Yeah,
High. But I
that's
do
true. I
think that
forgot they played.
yeah, but I do think Virginia High is the hottest team right now in two, uh, at least in Southwest Virginia. I think they're
Hmm.
very dangerous. I think they're playing their best ball right now.
I
But
think
like I
so
said, they
too.
got everybody
Yeah,
healthy. So
yeah, and yeah, I got a feeling you might just I don't know something about the way you can see them playing that championship Saturday.
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised a bit to see them there. The only problem they may run into, I travel. If it stays like it is now, there's no upsets. They'll be traveling every week. That might be the thing. Road game is different in high school for sure,
yeah,
being at home
Galax
or
did it
traveling.
last
So,
year.
but Galax did it, yeah.
Yeah,
So you got to see how it goes. I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna be off this week as far as going to any games. But I look forward to next week getting back on track and getting out there and watching some of these playoff games. But tomorrow I'll be going to my youngest best friend's birthday party.
Heck yeah.
Little Loxley Joe will be turning 1 tomorrow, or not turning 1 tomorrow. I'm not sure when. 11th, I think, is her birthday. But having her party, turning a big 1, and I'll be there celebrating with her, hoping she gets in some cake and rubs it on her face and doing all that good stuff. But that's my Friday plans. So, are you going to try to go anywhere? Or
It depends on. There's a lot of outside circumstances that I've
yeah,
kind of, I've had to kind of work around even just the past few days. So we'll see. Regardless, I'll be keeping up with it. Before we get off here, I do want to say again, thank you for the Richlands players that came on despite all the technology and our technical difficulties that we had. um, Very thankful for them. Again, stay tuned. Hurley and Twin Valley fans, we're going to try to get those kids on. Um, yeah, I mean, not much else. I do want to say again, shout out to Tailgate Talk for having us on last week or this past weekend. Great experience, great food at Bonanza. Shout out to Bonanza. That's the second time we've recorded there. They do a great job at letting us just kind of do our thing. And then when we're done, we leave them. It's no issue whatsoever. And like I said, the food's great. Besides that, man, I don't think that should be it. So go
Mark
ahead,
Andrews just
more.
caught a touchdown pass. He's finally showing up. I'm happy. That's a fantasy.
Yeah, finally.
That's a big thing right there. Yeah, it's a little too late now. I mean, I'm not.
Yep.
Yeah, we've struggled at the Lester household in fantasy football this year. We're not doing great. Uh, but it's not because of the ownership. We've picked the right player. They just not perform.
Yeah,
Uh, so
it's like
anyway,
that
but
sometimes.
yeah, you have it. But yeah, man, good to see you again, and looking forward to next week.
Sounds good. Thank you guys, and God bless.